Hi everyone. I hope you are able to see my screen. Um, just give me a thumbs up if you are able to see the screen. Okay, okay, cool. So hi everyone. Welcome to this group session on how to upscale to transition into the space of data science. Um, so just a little bit about myself. I am Nishtha Gupta. I have a background in chemical engineering. I have done my BTech and MTech in chemical engineering, and and then I came across this field of data science, and I found it, intriguing, and hence I started exploring it further. And now I have successfully transitioned my career into this space, and I have been happily working with Deloitte since almost 2 years now. It will be almost 2 years in the month of August. So if you are someone, in this call, who is actually looking forward to transition their career into the space of data science, so this session is, actually for all of you, right? And if you and you are able to see this QR code here, right? You can actually book a free trial session with me, and I will be happy to discuss with you extensively on, how you want to transition and what stage are you at to transition your career into this space. So you can, quickly scan this code and book a free trial session with me, where we can discuss your goals and your preparation strategies as well. I have few questions for you as well. I just want to know a little more about you, all of you in this call. So um, you would see some polls, right, in the coming 2 to 3 minutes. We'll have few questions there, and let me know if you're able to see the poll one. Um, Let me know if you're able to see the poll. The poll one is, what is your current experience? Are you guys a fresher or someone who is a working professional? Okay, and all of those who are not able to see their post directly on your screen, you can see there is one icon of triangle, circle, and square in the right side lower, right? You can click on that icon and click on the post. You will be able to see the poll. Okay, we have a couple more seconds to answer for this particular poll. Okay, okay. I think we have the answer. Um, Most of you are someone who is fresher here. And okay, the next poll is, are you someone who is transitioning their career? Are you someone who is transitioning their career? Let me know if you're able to see this particular poll or question. We have a couple more seconds for this question. Okay, the next question is, we have the answer. Most of you are actually, looking forward to transition their career You guys are someone who is transitioning their career, and I guess this session is, you can actually get a lot out of this session today. Next is, what is your preparation strategy? Sorry, preparation status. Are you someone who has just started out? Are you a beginner having a basic knowledge about few tools and technologies being used in data science, or are you someone who is advanced, have hold on most of the skills? Just a couple seconds for this particular question here. Okay, next question is, what is your target company? Is it Mang or a product based or a service based? Okay, I guess most of you has voted. Just a couple more seconds to vote. Okay, so most of you are actually targeting a product-based company, and most of you are just starting out and are a beginner in this particular field. So I guess we have the answers for all of these. Um, okay, nice. So now, what we are going to cover in this session, if you have any further questions, while during the session, you can actually put it up in the chat box, or you can, feel free to interrupt me in between and ask any questions you have. I'll be more than happy to answer. So what we will cover in this session, we are just starting out with the session now. So we'll first discuss, what are the roles and responsibilities of a data scientist. How can you upskill in this particular field? What are the exact technical skills required to upskill for this particular field? How can you build your credibility? And how can you apply for jobs, right? So starting out with, roles and responsibilities of a data scientist, this particular slide I have kept in order to all of you, for all of you to understand that, if this is something which you really want to do for the couple of years in your day-to-day life, right? For you to make a decision that, what actually a data scientist role demands, right? So we'll just start out with, the day-to-day roles and responsibilities. So we have the first thing is to understand the business problem, right? When you are interacting with either with a client or within a company itself or within an organization itself, the first task is to understand what are the business problems, right? What is something which the stakeholders or the clients or the organization in itself are facing issues with or have a problem there in itself. So first thing is to understand the business requirement and to convert that business requirement into our DS problem, into our data science problem, right? And then we have the data gathering and assessment. So for any of the business or a domain requirement, right? We not only have like a one particular data set, right? we have like multiple data sets with millions and zillions of rows. We have to gather that data and we need to assess that data in terms of, to understand that uh, how can each data be used, what are the features involved, what are actually the columns names represent. So all of those analysis we have to do at a very initial level while we are understanding the business problems as well, right? Next is the data cleaning, right? When we receive the data, it is not always in a very structured format. It is always in a very unstructured format, having a lot of missing values, having a lot of null values. So in order to make that data into a very structured format, we need to clean that data, right? So that that data can be used to predict the models, to do further data analysis, and to actually solve that particular business requirement, right? Next we have something called exploratory data analysis. This term is mostly used in the space of data analysis and data science, where we are actually trying to compare different data sets, trying to compare different features, how each column or each data is actually looking. We actually plot certain graphs such as bar graphs or histogram or box plot, and we do some sort of data analysis. Okay, next we have the model building and deployment. So after we are done with the basic data analysis and we are done with creating the basic features, we actually build the model and make and deploy it to make it live to the stakeholders to see. And last and the least is, while doing all of these steps, right, we actually have to communicate every time the results which we have obtained to the stakeholders or to the product managers, so that yeah, so that they also have a hold of what that business requirement or what that business problem which we have solved actually looks like. Have you actually solved that problem for them, right? So all of these are day-to-day responsibilities of a data scientist. Since most of you answered on the poll that you are a beginner or you are just starting out, I guess that this kind of understanding is very important for you to understand that how you can actually build your technical skills, where all of your technical skills or where all of your interpersonal skills will be utilized, right, when you are picking up, when you are switching to this particular data scientist or data analyst role. Okay, next is how can you upskill, right? So as we discussed that we need all of these things. This is a step by step process we have on a daily basis, right? So uh, in order to complete these steps, in order to complete these tasks on a day to day basis, we need to have certain skills as well, right? So how can you upskill in this particular field, which is like the main question of this session today, right? Since most of you answered that you are just starting out, right? You are someone who is actually looking forward to transition their career. So this becomes really important, right? So my first is the technical skills. Technical skills is something which you will use like 80% of the time, which is, we'll deep dive more into the technical skills, but at a higher level, it is something which you will use for the 80% of your in the 80% of your day, right? So technical skills includes the coding skills, right? It includes the your presentation skills, it includes your MS Excel skills, right? We'll deep dive more into it, but let's come on to the next type of skills, which is the problem solving skills. So problem solving skills, as I mentioned right earlier, that we need to the main role of a data scientist is to actually understand the business requirement, right? So in order to understand the business requirement, while you are understanding that, the main job or the main role of yours is to convert that business requirement into a data science problem, right? How can you do that, right? How can you do that when you have an basic understanding of the data science concepts, and when you have a basic understanding of the business with which you are dealing with, right? You can actually break down that requirement into several smaller steps and can actually create a data science problem out of it, right? So a role of data scientists not just to just be handed with a specific task. Our main role is actually to abstract the problem out of that business context, out of that business requirement, right? In this problem solving steps only, uh, we are not just targeting that, just apply the best algorithm which we have in the ML, and just get done with the business context, with the business problem, right? It's not just about that. We need to solve the problem with multiple iterations, with multiple algorithms, and try to deliver the best out of what we have got, right? Not just implement the basic code and call it a day. Okay. So this is what I meant by the problem solving skills, where you need to, understand the business requirement, and, convert that into a DS problem, into a data science problem, right? Next is the domain knowledge, right? So here actually most of the people comes to me and tell that, I have to apply in this particular organization, right? But they're actually demanding the domain knowledge as well, right? For example, if somebody is applying to a pharmacy company, right, they would demand some pharmaceutical or pharmacy related knowledge as well, right? For example, if someone is applying to an FMCG organization, they would demand some sort of domain knowledge there as well, right? As far as I understand that, domain knowledge is important. It's actually important, as I mentioned, to convert that business problem into a DS problem. But while you have the while you already have the knowledge for these technical skills, domain knowledge understanding is not really a heavy task, right? You can actually, there are a lot of articles around on the internet available on that particular domain in which you want to enter, and you can actually get through a basic understanding of that particular domain, or that particular industry. So domain knowledge is important in just to understand the business context, the business understanding, and to understand the business requirement. Okay. Next is the storytelling skills, right? When you are, as I mentioned, right, we have to communicate our results to the stakeholders or to the product managers, right? Sometimes what happens, they don't really understand what codes we have written, right? They don't understand the technical aspects of it. What they understand is the business aspects out of it, right? So keeping in mind that your domain knowledge, keeping in mind your problem solving skills, and keeping in mind the business context which they have provided, you have to come up with a result, right? You have to tell them the story in in a way they understand, right? So by storytelling, right? Storytelling is actually a very powerful tool which a data scientist can use to make their findings more relatable. It can They can make it more memorable, because you are using all the business related terms there, and the product manager or or a stakeholder can easily relate to those terms and terminologies, right? And impactful, right? By combining whatever data analysis which we have done, right? So by combining that data analysis with with a particular narrative structure, right, we can actually we can actually communicate complex information which is more accessible to them, and what that is more engaging to them as well, right? So these are the four main skills which we need as a data scientist to, make through the day, make through each and every day in this particular role, right? So I'm guessing these problem solving skills, domain knowledge, and storytelling skills is something which you can actually get an understanding while you are on the job, because this is something which you should have some hands-on experience. This is something which you can get, like, the more experience the better, right? So, but we'll deep dive more into the technical skills, and which is the main thing for this session today, which for what, this is the main area where most of the people come to me and ask me that, Nishta, what is the correct roadmap to actually enter this field, and what are the typical resources we should be looking forward to. So here we'll have answer to those questions. We'll actually look into some sort of basic roadmap, right? If you are just starting out, and if you are a beginner in this field, as you are, uh, as I've got answers to most of the questions through the poll. So first one is the basic mathematics, right? This is something which we have actually studied in class 10th or class 12th, right? And during the first or second year of our undergrad, we all have studied this basic mathematics, which include linear algebra and probability and statistics, right? Linear algebra and probability and statistics is used in order to understand, the basic or as well as complex ML algorithms, right? Because uh, understanding basic statistics, understanding basic algebra will actually give you, will actually make ML algorithms easy to understand for you, right? Next is Python or R and SQL, right? Now, most of the people comes to me and ask me that, Nasha, which language I should be picking up. Should I pick up Python? Should I pick up R? Right. So at the time, most of the time, I suggest that you should actually pick up with Python because it is a user friendly language. It is very easy to understand and it is very easy to learn. So start learning with Python because that is something which is extensively used while we are doing data analysis or we are working as a data scientist, and SQL as well. SQL is structured query language. It is used to clean data, to transform data, and to pre-process data, right? If you remember, if we go back to that slide, right, where I mentioned the day-to-day responsibility, there was one point, right, where we have to clean the data, right? So through SQL, we can actually clean the data, we can actually transform the data, right? Next is machine learning, right? When you are actually coming into this data science, when you are actually advancing through your ML, through your Python concepts, right? Then you can actually start working on your machine learning algorithms as well. Start with basic algorithms. We have supervised learning algorithms, we have unsupervised learning algorithms, right? So start with basic. Then we have in supervised, we have classification problems, we have regression problems, right? Start with simple and basic algorithms such as linear regression and logistic regression, right? Then move on to decision trees, then move on to random forest, and then move on to KNN, right? Actually, here most of the people makes mistake, right? They when they actually come across machine learning, all they understand is the deep neural networks, the advanced machine learning concepts, right? And this is where most of the people makes mistakes. This directly starts with the advanced ML concepts, right? But you cannot understand that until you understand the basic concepts of ML algorithms, right? The basic ML algorithms which are extensively used. And trust me, most of the ML problems, can actually be solved using basic algorithms. We really don't have to use extensive deep neural networks until stated otherwise, right? If that is a business requirement, if that is something which the client wants, or if the product manager wants, you are feel free to uh, feel free to implement those kind of algorithms. But most of the business problems can actually be solved using basic ML algorithms such as linear regression, logistic regression, as well as your decision trees and random forest, right? Next is the visualization tools, right? As I already mentioned that, most of the product managers or the client doesn't really understand the code side of or the the technical side of the things, right? So what they understand is some sort of storytelling. What they understand is some sort of visualizations, right? So we have certain visualization tools with us. So we have Power BI, we have Tableau. So you can actually pick up any of these and you will be able to work on the other one, right? So if you are picking up Power BI and you are just, picking up some course on Power BI, you can definitely be able to understand Tableau as well. It's just the interface is different between both of them, right? So this is also a very important technical skills which you have to learn. Next is MS Excel, right? Because MS Excel is something which where you can do the basic, very basic data analysis, where you can actually plot few charts and at a very basic level, right? So if you are someone who has to do a very initial level of assessment, MS Excel is actually very fruitful, right? So I'll just take a pause here and just wanted to understand if you have any questions on this particular slides, because this is something which is really very important. You can put up your questions in the chat box as well, and or unmute your mic and we can pick it up. Okay, so we have one question. Saad Ahmed is actually asking that what level of Python is needed for data science, right? So now again, there are two things, right? If you are just starting out, if you are just, if you are just beginning in this particular field, and as I mentioned that, start with basic ML algorithms, the basic level of Python is actually needed, where you can do certain transformations, uh, where you can actually, do the basic level of data cleaning as well, the basic level of exploratory data analysis. So all of those things are actually needed. And Python actually has a lot of packages, right, for everything. If you have to do some transformation, there we have a package, right? If you have to do certain uh, plotting, or if you have to do certain visualization, then also we have packages, right? And if you have to go create an ML algorithm, that there also we have packages. So start with the basic level of Python, I would suggest, and slowly move to intermediate level. We have few courses on internet, on Udemy and Coursera, which we'll go through in a bit. You can pick up those things. I hope that answers your question, Ahmed, Saad Ahmed. Okay, next is okay, so Sachin have a question. I have looked at some job requirements and most prefer Python. Which industry uses our language more? Yeah, as I mentioned, right? Most of the organization requires Python because Python is something which is very easy to understand, very easy to implement as well, right? So there are certain organizations, certain industry, for example, insurance domain, which uses our as their a language, right? I have seen in most of the insurance domain where we have like business problems related to insurance industry, the users are because sometimes what happens that there are certain things uh, which can be implemented in R more easily. So yeah, but there are like 90% or 95% of the things which we can actually do using Python. So hence most of the organizations prefer Python. Okay, now we have another question. Aruna is asking that how MS Excel is useful if you know Python to manipulate data. It is correct. It is correct that you can actually use Excel. Actually, when you can use Excel when your data is actually in a CSV format, right? So sometimes what happens, right? When you do certain when you run certain ML algorithms, right? You the output you want to visualize is in the form of Excel, right? So instead of going back and forth to the Python and to the MS Excel, what we usually do is we actually do certain analysis on the output as well as on the initial level as well, where we have like the sample data where we can do certain VLOOKUPs or certain matching of the indexes as well. So yeah. And and if at any stage if you feel that um, that which courses to take, how to excel, what is the exact course to take, what is the exact resources, because there are a lot of resources available on the internet. You can actually book my free trial session. You can actually take up the long term mentorship where I can actually guide you on what level of Python, how uh, what all to actually cover in Python, which course to take, what algorithms to study, right? In order to crack interviews also, and in order to enter into this particular field. So you can actually take up long term mentorship as well. You can book a free trial session with me. We'll just take up one more question for now, and then we'll move with the slides. Okay, as a beginner and a fresher, what actually the role that we get at this level, right? So here, so you have data analysis, right? In data science is not just about data science, right? Data science is actually, you have data analysis, you have data engineering, you have something called PBI developer, Power BI developer, or a visualization developer, and then you have a data science, right? So in order to start as a beginner or as a fresher, you can actually enter into this field as a data analyst. Why? Because it would require your basic Python. It would require your basic knowledge of SQL as well, and it will require your basic knowledge of any of the visualization tool which you have picked up, right? So you can actually enter into this field via data analyst or a business analyst role, and then after spending a year or two, you could after spending a year or a year and a half, right, into this particular data analyst field, whatever tool you like most, right? For example, if you like working in Python more, or if you like working in SQL more, right? If you like working in Python, you can actually enhance your skill in this field and move more towards your ML side or a data science side. And if you like working on SQL more, right, if that's something which interests you more, you can actually work towards your data engineering skills and pick up a data engineer as a role later in your career, right? But as a beginner, for a start, you can actually start with the business analyst role or a data analyst role, because all of those two roles, right, requires a basic understanding of Python, mathematics, as well as your visualization tools. Okay. I hope that answers your questions, Vijay. We'll take a further questions like at the later stage of the session. We'll just cover everything we have for this session, right? Okay. So now you have learned all of your technical skills, right? Now what to do next? How can you, being someone from a very different domain, right? Like from a electrical engineering domain, or like a chemical engineer, as I was, right? How can you actually build your credibility? How can you actually, make someone get a hold on you, right? That you actually know something, that you actually have hands-on experience on something, right? So what you can do is you can actually have some certification. You can actually do some sort of certifications from Udemy, from Coursera, right? You have a lot of resources available on the internet these days, right? Data science is a very vast field, right? You can actually explore different resources, right? It's like uh, a- if you see today, right, there are a lot of resources available over YouTube, over Udemy, over Coursera, and any other course learning websites which you can name it, right? It's like, if you see the amount of resources available, if you are picking up any one resource, it will be like just picking up a glass of water from the sea of ocean, right? So here I can actually help you if you are someone who is looking forward for that exact particular roadmap, where you can actually know which exact course to take, which exact resources to take up, so that you are not wasting time uh, in actually a lot of resources which is available over the internet. You can actually book my one-on-one long-term mentorship session, where I can actually guide you on these sort of things, right? So first you can actually do some sort of certifications either from Udemy or Coursera or from any other website which you feel is good. Next is build projects, right? Because see, courses anybody can do, right? Anybody can complete courses, right? But that alone will not give you some sort of credibility, right? You really have to do some sort of projects. You have to since you are a fresher, since you are someone who will be new to this field, who will be transitioning their career, the main area on how you can build your credibility is to show that you have had hands-on experiences, right? So that you can show while doing some sort of projects, right? Some sort of data analysis project, some sort of ML projects, right? You can take help from Kaggle, you can take help from GitHub, right? To actually get a problem statement for you, to actually get a data set for you, and you can actually start practicing on it, right? Nowadays we have chat gpt, right? Chat gpt is so powerful these days, in order to understand, in order to actually implement a project, right? You can actually ask chat gpt to give you a problem statement in this particular context, and for this particular concept, and it will actually give you, and you can actually start your hands on while doing that self-paced projects, and you can include those projects in your resume as well. And people actually consider those projects, right? Because uh, one a part of the interview is actually where they ask you about your projects, and this is something where you can actually stand out. So do projects, as many projects as you can do, but do projects, right? Next, what you can do is you can actually join like-minded communities. There are so many communities. If you scroll on LinkedIn, you can actually find there are so many data science communities, data analysis communities actually build up, right? Where people having the same motive, having the same goal in mind, come together, do some sort of projects together, study together, and uh, and get placements and get actually the offers. And the last is you can actually participate in hackathons, right? While when you have actually a hold of on your technical skills, you can actually start participating in hackathons. For those of you who doesn't know what hackathons are basically, some sort of competitions which happens across organization, across colleges. If you are somebody who is a college, who is currently in college right now, so you can actually participate in those sort of hackathons where you can actually brainstorm on your problem statement, develop the solutions, do some sort of codings in a shorter span of time which you have been given, which can actually showcase your teamwork as well as can showcase your hands-on experiences, right? So it will be very useful when you will be sitting for the interview, because you will have something to rely on. You will so this is so these four are the pointers where you can actually start building your credibility after learning all of your technical skills, right? Next is, now you have the credibility as well. Now you have projects also. Now you have the certifications also, right? Last and the next part comes when, how can you apply for jobs, right? Um, so here, the first thing and the foremost thing is to maintain a perfect ATS compliant resume. Okay. This is something which is the first thing which you have to do, which where you can include all of your certifications, all of your technical skills, all of your projects, hackathons, competitions. You can include everything, and you can build a perfect ATS compliant resume. Again, I can help you here because I have had a fair share of working on the resumes. I've helped people build a perfect ATS compliant resume which have got them jobs. So I can help you here to build your perfect ATS compliant resume. Next is, and network. Reach out to as many people you can on LinkedIn, from your alma mater, from your college, because you never know which network can actually pay you, right? So networking is the most important thing. Next is, to ask for referrals from your alma mater and people from your network, right? If you are just applying for jobs, right, just clicking on apply, and then, you're just uploading your resume and filling out the details again and again, this is not going to work, right? Because like a lot of like you, like a lot of thousand people will also be applying for jobs, right? So the best way to stand out is to ask for referrals from your alma mater, people who are senior from your college, people whom you have already known, right? From your dream company. So you can actually ask for referrals. And here also I can help you to, actually give you that template to actually tell you that, how can you reach out to your network to ask for referrals, right? Next is, again, this is like the most important. This is something which should not be like a separate pointer, because this is something which you should do like hand in hand while you are, creating your projects, while you are building your resumes as well. So preparing for interviews is something which you should do like hand in hand, right? Next is schedule time to apply for jobs and keep a track. I have seen most people what they do, because they are not getting a job. What they do 24/7, they are just applying for jobs, right? If you are just applying for jobs, how can you prepare for your interviews, right? And if you are and they would have applied to so many companies that they would have lost track to which companies they would have applied. So it's very important to schedule an hour or two max in a day to only apply for jobs, right? Because the rest amount of time you have to give to your building your resumes, to changing those resumes basis on the JEs on for the roles which you are applying, and to prepare for interviews. Okay, so yeah, this was about it. And here, how this long term mentorship will work. If you are, if you need for any of these things which I have stated in the previous slides, you can actually book a one-on-one long term mentorship session with me at free place. How will this session work? So you are here, right? If you are someone who is looking for a job, right, then you can book a trial session with me for 15 to 30 minutes. Here I can help you understand your goals, understand your problems in your preparation journey, even if you are a beginner or if you are just starting out, right? We will identify your skills gap, that which level of Python are you currently at, or have you just started out, or are you doing the right amount of course, right? So we will identify your skill gaps, and we can discuss that, how I can support you via long term mentorship. I will try to give you a roadmap. I will try to give you a preparation timeline, which we can within which we can achieve your goals, right? We will then what after you have this trial session, after you are sure that you needs to get mentored by me, what how this process will go. We will have certain sessions within a week. I We will have follow-ups also, we will have chats also, we'll have like ad hoc calls as well. We can support you. We will be having constant interaction during those particular period, during those particular timelines for which you will be taking up my mentorship. So what we will do during the mentorship, I can teach you a certain topic, if that will be required. I can actually give you the exact resources to look into, to actually apply for the to actually study a particular concept, right? We will give you a perfect roadmap in order to help you in your preparation strategy. I will also help you with what kind of projects. I will guide you with what kind of projects you can actually work on, from which resources you can actually take the problem statements, right? And if you face any difficulties during the project, I can help you with hands on support as well. And next is, I can help you with your interview preparation while taking the mock interviews as well. Or if you have any question, that which particular questions will be asked in related to this particular JD, I can help you with that, right? Next is your resume building and review. I can help you with your resumes as well. As I've mentioned, I have had a fair share of experience in reviewing the resumes as well. And next is the constant interaction. This I've already told you. We'll be having continuous follow-ups, we'll be having ad hoc calls as well, we'll be having chat support as well. And later stage, I can actually help you with the placement assistant to I can actually help you to get that perfect template to ask for referrals, right? I can actually help you if you really want to have a salary negotiations, so like that. So I can actually help you through this long term mentorship to be a job ready person. So yeah, this is how you can actually book a free trial session with me. We can discuss all of your problems, all of your goals, and you can decide if you want to get mentored by me and take up this one-on-one long-term mentorship session, right? You can actually scan this QR code and you can book a trial session, or you can visit this website and search Nishtha Gupta and you can book a free trial session with me. So yeah, thanks for attending. We'll take up questions now if you have. Uh, Yeah, Vijay, you were asking for some slides, right? Which slide are you actually referring to? Uh, if possible, can you unmute your mic and ask? Okay. Vijay, let me know which slide are you actually referring to. We have a question from Sachin. Nowadays, new AI tools for data analysis and visualization are also trending, like Rose.ai and Akio for a fresher. Should he focus on this too? So for now, right, even if these tools are actually trending, right, these tools will not be able to give you the basic understanding of what goes inside a visualization tool, right? They are actually very easy to operate, right? They are very easy to understand, and they're very easy to use, right? But the behind the story experience you won't be able to understand, right? But for a beginner, for a fresher, it's very important to understand the basic foundation of what you are actually trying to do, right? So start with Power BI and Tableau, or Tableau actually, and later when you have like your fair share amount of your experience in that particular Power BI or a Tableau tool, you can actually come onto this AI tools which are actually trending. Then you will be able to use these tools more efficiently as well, right? So I would suggest to go through Power BI or Tableau and then come back to these AI tools. Okay, some Nish Rathod has asked, how can you start study for a data analyst, right? So as I mentioned, right, all the technical skills which I've mentioned, so these are like a must to actually enter this particular field. If you just subtract ML from it and just study, Python, SQL, and Power BI or Tableau or MS Excel as well, you will be good to go with a data analyst role. To know more about it, right? To know more about it, you can actually book a one-on-one long-term mentorship session with me. We can actually discuss in detail on exact roadmap or exact path which you can actually take to enter into this data analyst role. I hope that answers your question, Nish. Uh, you can book your session with me. Mm, any questions you have? Any further questions? Okay, Vijay is asking for that how to build your credibility slide, right? This is the slide, Vijay. I hope you're able to see. Moving on to further question. You also have a link in the chat box, right? To actually book a 30-minute free trial session with me. You can go to that link and book the session, right? Somebody is asking, okay, Madhuri is asking what level of Excel learning is required, right? So, Madhvi, as I mentioned that, Excel is mostly required to, do the basic or the initial level of assessment, right? But if you have a command over Excel, you can actually use it to clean data as well, right? So for to answer your question, right, you actually need to understand few formulas and functions. Like we have like the basic functions, sum, average, VLOOKUP, index match, right? So these sort of functions you should know in Excel. Then you have like if you want to do data cleaning and validation as well as in your Excel as well, Excel only. So you should actually understand how you can do text to columns, find and replace, remove duplicates, right? And you should also have a knowledge about pivot tables and charts. So yeah. Okay, any further question? We still have some time. We can pick up few questions. Okay, somebody has asked, Akshit has asked, if we are a working professional and dedicate 2 to 3 hours every day, how long would it typically take to cover these things, right? Um, so there are two things, Akshit. First is that, uh, in those 2 to 3 hours, right, which skills are you actually picking up, right? Let's say if you are able to pick up Python, right? And if you're also looking to a and if you're also looking to that resource which is not, covering everything and it's just a straightforward course, you will actually be able to complete Python in like with all of your practice, you will be able to complete it in like 45 to 60 days. That is like 1.5 months to 2 months. You will be able to complete that, right? And Python and SQL as well. But considering you are also practicing the questions, right? If you are just doing the course, it would not suffice as well, and it would like take like less time only. But practicing questions as well is actually very important, and hence it will take around 1.5 to 2 months. And I would also suggest that don't start every skill in parallel, because if you are covering everything parallelly, you won't be able to understand one skill at a time, right? So it's always better to get a hold of one skill and then move to another. For exact thing, for exact roadmap, for exact resources, again I would like to highlight that you can actually book my one-on-one trial session with me. Let me know if you have any further questions. I'll just show the slide where you can actually scan this QR code and book a session with me.
Nishta, I think we can conclude the session now.
Yeah.
Most of the questions are done. So thank you everyone for joining this session, and thank you Nishta for taking such a interactive, amazing session. Everyone, we have shared links of Nishta's profile in the chat. You can just go ahead and book a 30-minute free trial session with her, and understand how she can help you with the long-term mentorship. So thanks everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Arthur. Thank you.